Right, that I saw. Yep,
Yes. But at the northwest corner, there's no change.
correct. That's what I was referring to.
Yep.
So perhaps I'm not looking at the right plan, but I have a single plan, says improvement location survey prepared for 131 Boston Post Road. Can you, it doesn't seem to delineate the difference between before and after. Was there an additional sheet I'm missing here, or can you walk us through the differences?
Okay, so
That would-
the major difference is on the right side behind the property to the right of me. There's going to be fill added in that area on property that we acquired.
And how is that acquired property shown on this plan? Is it the hatched area?
It should be in the rear right corner. It should say grading sloping easement to 131 Boston Post Road.
So Ken, you bought or you acquired 6,312 square feet?
Yes.
Kevin, just to help you clarify that, the 164.95 feet with that bearing of north 48 degrees, 49, 36,
That's the old property
Yeah.
line, right?
that's the original property line prior to the acquisition.
Okay,
The toe of the slope is pretty much at that original line.
and
Yes,
where is the acquired property?
I believe the acquired property is that
The two separate triangular pieces, Kev. One is to the north, one is to the east of the original lot.
Yes.
They are connected. They're not two separate pieces, but they are, for all intent and purposes, two triangular pieces.
Right.
Kevin, the new property line to the east doesn't show on this map, but from the extent of the grading, it's pretty clearly within the property he acquired.
Tom, can you say that again?
The easterly property line doesn't show on this map, but from the
You
from
talking
the-
about from Boston Post Road north, or are you talking about from the newly acquired piece?
I'm calling the top of the drawing north. To the
Yes.
east, he acquired something on the order of 30 feet. To the east of the original property line, that line doesn't show, but the extent of his regrading is it's a very small extent. It's well within what he acquired.
All right,
I just know that based on my familiarity with the site.
right. Jack, did wetlands sign off on this?
Yeah, wetlands, he went to wetlands for the previous site plan approval. And I spoke with Rick and he said that this is something that he'd be comfortable with me doing administratively. Because it's just an extension essentially of what was there along that wetlands line. So he told me to give him the sign off.
So this will allow the applicant to comply with the original approval.
I currently comply with the original approval.
Okay,
This just extends the area at that top plane where I have the paved asphalt area in the back to allow for more future parking in the back.
If the site plan gets revised.
Yes.
are there any other questions for the applicant? So will you be paving more? of
Not
this-
in this site plan,
Pardon?
not under this site plan, under a future plan to be
Yep.
brought before the commission.
Back, okay?
Yeah, he would have to come back in, Judy, because he's got, the grading he's showing, he could never park on as it's depicted.
All right, are there any other questions for Mr. Thomas?
No, I don't.
Does the commission feel they're ready to vote on the modification request?
And Jack, you ran this by Rick and he said that you can do it administratively? Hello.
He might have popped off, but he had answered affirmatively to
Yeah.
that, Paul.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the modification of site plan approval submitted by Ken Thomas for property known as 131 Boston Post Road, Orange, original site plan approved by TPZC on February 4th, 2020.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Tom. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Approved.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. You're all set, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you, commission. Have a good night.
You too.
Have a good one.
The last item on our agenda is a continuation of our public hearing for the application for special use submitted by Tom Deluzio for property known as 94 Sunset Drive. The request is for larger ground coverage as per section 383-26I subsection 3 subsection A to construct a 30 by 32 garage for additional storage. At our last meeting, the prints that were submitted had some inconsistencies, and the applicant resubmitted his plans, and so we'll turn it over to Tom to inform us of the new layout and the new measurements and the new lot size and things that came about from the new drawings.
All right, guys, thanks for meeting with me again. Can you all hear me all right?
Yeah, we're good.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so last time my drawing was off a little. I had everything dimensioned off of the existing, the street line. I was misinformed that that's, you have to be dimensioned off the property line. So I got back my engineer, we re-engineered the drawing. I realized that my property line on the street where, right where I needed to be, was set back about 24 feet. So that made my building well within, not within the required 50-foot property setback. So we re-engineered it. I had to move the building a little bit closer to the house and a little bit back. And as you can see now, the dotted lines on there, it's showing well within the, the 50-foot rear setback. It's a corner lot. So it's within the 50-foot street line to the side street, and I'm within the 50-foot street line to the front of the street. So like I said, it's been re-engineered. You can see it pretty clear now where it is. Plus last time I had some penciled in dimensions on there that Tom didn't like, so I didn't draw anything in. I didn't do any hard measurements. Everything is actually just what's shown on the engineer drawing. So that's pretty much all the changes that I made. And that's it. Any questions?
Yes.
Oh, I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Deluzio? Sorry.
One other thing came up when we looked at this drawing again. The town had always, since I bought this property 9 years ago, I was always under the assumption I had 0.88 and change acres. After this survey, which Jack told me he would agree because it's the latest and greatest that's been on the property, they opened up the property to 1.209 acres. which means my coverage is a lot less. Now with the opposed garage, the garage I'm proposing, I'm still less than 6% total usage, as in where last time at the 0.88, I was very close to 9%. So that's also,
Tom, you
help.
telling us you found 20% more property?
yeah,
Your tax is gonna go up?
Where'd you find that?
of course they are. I don't know where they, I'm not the engineer. I can't answer that. But I reviewed it all with Jack in the office, and he said that this area out here has not been resurveyed since the 40s, and they're seeing some of this. I guess I don't know how often or how often it is, but he agreed with the dimensions. My survey, my engineer agreed. So he said it wasn't gonna be. I think he even talked to I don't have the email in front of me, but
I spoke with the assessor. The assessor in town is the one who has it inputs all of the information for our GIS and online systems, and he uses the information on the land records from the town clerk. So the land records that he could be using, and he told me this himself, could be from 80 years ago. He's using what is in front of him. So as more up-to-date documents like this survey come in, that's why we have people submit it to the land records so we can update our information to make sure it's correct. So the information that was on this property on there was probably from, 60 to 80 years ago, and he confirmed that. He says, whatever the most up-to-date survey has been, he said, go with that, because that is most likely your most accurate information.
Mr. DeLuzio, did you mention in the prior hearing that you were going to relocate the existing shed?
I did, correct. Yes, sir. Yeah. I don't have it drawn on here just yet because, until, but yeah, it will be set well within the 50-foot setbacks. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because that's really right up in your.
Well, I know it is in the way the, existing street line was, it never looked that, out of place, but yes. So no, that will definitely be getting relocated for sure. Yeah. It's probably at this point not going to be till spring, to be honest with everyone, but it will definitely, before this project is complete, it will be getting relocated. Yes.
How big is that existing shed, Tom, generally?
10 by 16.
Did everyone have a chance to drive by the address and get a sense of the neighborhood and the size of the property? Everybody get to drive by?
Yeah.
There's one very overgrown area right now where I just had some, right on the corner where you come around the bend from Lambert to Sunset on the right side. I had I don't know, probably 8 big overgrown white pines taken down. I have it scheduled to have all that land milled up, and I'm going to regrade it all with topsoil, and I'm going to put up some nice evergreen style bushes also probably come spring, to cover that whole corner and to kind of blend things in and hide it. So right now it does look, I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit messy looking, but with having trees down, I haven't had a chance. Everybody's running behind. My stump guy will be here within 4 weeks to clean that area up. So again, it'll just be an improvement. If you did drive by and see it, it's not staying. It will all get neatened up, believe me.
Will there be any buffering to the rear of the property, sort of behind the proposed new structure?
Yes, there is. Yeah. I've actually spoken with Michael Welch, Marilyn's son who lives back there. And they're not requiring anything. He's pretty good with looking at our yards, always neat and clean. But yes, I will be doing something back there also. Again, it's going to take a little bit of time because, you can only do so many projects at once. But yes, there will be some nice evergreen style bushes, some nice shrubbery, something put back there. Yeah.
Was there any buffering prior to your removing the trees, which you're entitled to do? I'm just curious.
On the back of the property, there was nothing. No.
It was always
all there was on the front, the pines that came down. And not only pines, they were very overgrown with the wild thorns and forsythias and everything. It was a pretty thick coverage, but it was all kind of garbage looking, So no, there was nothing nice. And no, there's never anything in the back.
Okay. And Jack, we had submitted in our packet for this application at our last meeting, support letters for the.
Yeah, you should have, I think, 7 or 8 support letters from different neighbors in the area.
Okay. Now, I don't know that we read them into the record at the last meeting,
I
or
don't believe we did.
okay. Would you have them handy so that you could do that?
Actually, I don't have a copy of those with, hold on. If they are on the back of this application. Yes, I have. This is our first one. I have a letter from Mary Welch at 501 Lambert Road in support. I have a Joseph Piscatelli from 84 Sunset Drive in support. I have a Anthony S. Cuzo, 87 Sunset Drive. I have George Morena III, 99 Sunset Drive. George Morena Jr., 99 Sunset Drive. John Silva, 50 Sunset Drive. And that is it.
Thank you.
All in support, by the way, sorry.
And those are all the ones that are in direct view of it. John's at the end of the street. He just wanted to sign one because he's a good friend. But all the other neighbors are the ones that are in direct neighbors, like property line or in view of it.
All right. Does the commission feel they need any more information from the applicant?
I just have one quick comment, Tom. And this has nothing to do with the commission's approval, but just to save yourself a potential headache, those scissor trusses require a special connector to prevent those walls from kicking out. So you may want to review that with your engineer.
Okay.
Okay. If you Google Simpson strong tie,
Oh, yeah. Okay. I've heard of them. Yeah. I'm just jotting this down. Yep.
and just under search, type in scissor truss connector.
Okay.
There's a special connector that will prevent those walls from kicking out. Again, it has nothing to do with this commission's approval, but wanted to point that out to you.
Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I'll definitely go over that with my engineer or the builder when it comes time. But yes, thank you.
Okay.
If there are no other comments, can we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the public hearing is closed. Does the commission feel they're ready to deliberate on the application for special use for 94 Sunset Drive?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Jack, for providing
agree.
that cheat sheet of prior approved.
Yep,
garage.
appreciate it, Jack. That was very helpful.
Sure thing. Thank you, Tammy.
And the applicant for staking out the corner, although I may have seen the stakes before they got moved. But
I'm sure you, when were you out here? When were you out here?
right after the meeting.
Okay, then yes, they've been moved since. It's all refilled in. We're, yeah.
All good.
If anybody wants to ever stop by and take a look with me, please do, you know?
So this is an application for a special use, so we should make findings consistent with that section of our regulations, Chairman Smith.
Yes, section 383-136, general considerations, the size and intensity of the proposed use and the size of the lot on which it is to be located. The effect of the proposed use on any adopted comprehensive plan of development for the town, the capacity of adjacent and feeder streets to accommodate peak traffic loads and any traffic hazards that might be created by the use. And it continues. Some are not applicable, but some are. So the effect upon property values and appearance in the neighborhood, taking into account the topography of the lot and the character, location, and height of proposed buildings and structures in the site plan and proposed landscaping. The number, location, and arrangement of off-street parking and loading spaces, that's not applicable. Fire and police protection needs, water supply, sewage disposal facilities, and drainage and erosion problems, and the arrangement, design, and nature of any buildings and structures. So those are the topics that we must consider with regard to considering a special use permit for this use.
And I would suggest that the intensity of the use is consistent, and would not affect the adjoining neighbors who are in,
Correct view.
with this, that the plan, it doesn't have any particular impact on the conservation, comprehensive plan of development. There shouldn't be any change to traffic generation based on this. It should have a positive effect on property values because he's upgrading that corner as you turn into the street. The off-street parking is actually getting increased by storing his cars in the building. No increase to fire or police. There's no difference to the water or sewage disposal because there's no, additional occupancy. And it's a nice shed. It's a nice garage, judging from the plan.
Thank you. It will be. Everything's neat and clean. Everything's, yeah, thank you.
Any other comments from the commission?
I think this is much more in line and much more in line with what I was expecting in terms of size than the trajectory we had been going on. This is absolutely fitting with it's kind of in harmony with the neighborhood as opposed to the last couple that we had that I think were larger than I would have liked.
Tom, do you have any comments?
Nope, I'm all set, Judy. I do tend to agree with Paul, though, that the scale of this garage is a little more in line with what we ought to be approving.
Well, it sounds like we're ready to make a motion, so we'll entertain one.
I'll move that we approve the application for special use submitted by Tom D'Aluzio for the property known as 94 Sunset Drive to request a larger crown coverage. We don't really need that part of it anymore, do we? Or we'll keep it, I guess. Per section 383, 26I, 3a, to construct a 30 by 32 foot garage for additional storage.
Okay, we have a very thorough motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Could you tell who seconded, please?
Tom Torrenti.
Thank you. I couldn't hear. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. D'Aluzio, you're all set. Your garage has been approved.
Go
Great,
forth and build.
With the build.
Good. Yeah, thank you, everyone.
All right.
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks for all you did for me. Thank you. All
Absolutely.
right, we'll talk to you soon.
Sure
Thank you,
thing.
guys. Good night.
Have a good one.
Okay, that concludes our meeting this evening. So, Mr. Kaplan, are you ready?
Madam Chair, I'd love to make a motion to leave.
Okay, have at it.
Okay, I move that we adjourn.
The meeting is adjourned.
That's like we
Sure.
did it last year. We actually
Okay.
last fall, remember, and we saved about $300,000.
Oh, I definitely remember.